But the good news is that we know a Savior who can free us from this dominant sin that we're dealing with. And if you are here and you're not sure who the Savior is, let me give you a brief introduction. His name is Jesus Christ, Son of the living God. He gave his life by being beaten and crucified on the cross. And though he had the power to remove himself, he stayed there. He took the punishment and the pain and the death, only to come back to life after 3 days to show you and I that he loves us to death. And he wants you and I to live a life that is full and free. It's not easy all of the time, but it was worth it. And you and I, we have doubts every now and then, and times when we may be afraid, and sin and temptation is all around us, begging us to follow a different path. But our God is a strong tower. So I want to focus on just a few things that separate us from God. And it's simply, the word is sin. And a lot of times we don't like to just focus on just sin, but it is what separates us. And so I want to walk down Romans 7, if you don't mind, so that we can see what Paul is talking about and what he's facing, what he's dealing with, in hopes that we can identify the sin that is within us. If we can identify and recognize the struggle or the stronghold, then maybe, just maybe, we can find the victory in overcoming the sin that we struggle with and that keep us from being all that God wants us to be. Starting at the top of Romans chapter 7, verse 1, it says, "Now, dear brothers and sisters, you who are familiar with the law," I like that part because, when people are trying to set you up or try to introduce you to something, when they mention, since you are familiar with this, so you already know where you're headed. Don't you know that the law applies only while a person is living? And this is what Paul is doing. For example, when a woman marries, the law binds her to the husband as long as he is alive. But if he dies, the laws of marriage no longer apply to her. So while her husband is alive, she would be committing adultery if she married another man. But if her husband dies, she is free from that law and does not commit adultery when she remarries. So my brothers and sisters, this is verse 4, to this point, you died to the power of the law when you died with Christ. And now you are united with the one who was raised from the dead. As a result, you can produce a harvest of good deeds for God.